Sorry, I gotta turn it down too.
Grief. If I can find that mosquito, I'll get it.
All right. There you go. You got it.
Got it. Edit. Point right there. I'm Bob Clagett. I live in Savannah, Georgia, and I make stuff for a living, and then I make videos about it. Before YouTube, I was a software engineer, and so I was for 15 years, I was in different parts of the software industry. I did web development on the front end, and then did kind of full stack development, and then application development, but it's all been software. Basically, I started making videos because I wanted to spend some time away from the computer in the shop, making some stuff with my hands, because I spent a lot of time at the computer. Having 4 kids and a wife, I had to be able to justify the time in the shop away from them. I had to justify that to myself, not to them. And so making videos of that time in the shop was a way for me to say, well, this time that I'm putting in right here is not just valuable to me, it can be valuable to people who may run across it on the internet. And that was basically the reason that I started making videos. And then I realized that I actually really enjoyed making videos, so then it turned into like maybe more of a selfish thing. But I still am motivated by the fact that people actually get something out of these, and I'm trying more and more to tailor the videos to be valuable. Everything I do should have value to somebody other than me. Hey everybody, welcome to Making It. I'm Bob Clagett. I enjoy problem solving, and so if I was going to call myself anything, it would be a problem solver, but that's why I like the term maker, because it wraps all that stuff into a person who has an idea and learns whatever they need to learn to get that idea out. That's the way I think of it. So it's not like a hip, culture word to me personally. It's a definition of something that's bigger than a certain set of skills. And so that's the way I think of myself, because I like to solve problems. Generally, the inspiration for my projects comes from a need that I see around me. Sometimes that need is like, this table doesn't really fit very well in this part of the house and it could be better, and so I can solve that problem by making a new table. Sometimes it's, I don't understand how to make things out of foam. And so the way for me to learn to solve that problem of lack of knowledge is to pick a project and make it out of that material. So it's a combination of a physical need that I see somewhere in my life or somebody else's life, or a way to get to some knowledge that I already don't have. I'm blessed enough that there's not a lot that I can't afford. I mean, there are things I can't afford, but there's not a lot of reasonable things that I can't afford, but there's just no fun in buying a thing, when I know that I can go through the process of learning some new skills, testing out a new material, and end up with something that is exactly what I want. Not kind of like what I want, it's exactly what I want to fill the need. That's way more interesting to me than just going to pick it up at the store. Alexa, turn on the arcade.
Did you just say, Alexa, turn on the arcade?
I did.
Bob.
There's 2 things that I'm really proud of. One is the full-size arcade machine, because it's something I wanted since I was a kid, and it's just cool. It's in my living room. I mean, how cool is that? And the second thing is the secret door that I did, and that's because that was a friend of mine's dream since he was a kid. He always wanted to have a secret door, and then they were renovating their attic, and they were also pregnant with their first child, and so it was a perfect opportunity for me to fulfill one of his dreams that will then be this awesome thing for his young boy to discover when he's 4 or 5 years old. He's gonna accidentally pull this book out, and there's gonna be a playroom back there that's just for him. I mean, I love being a part of that. I think any of the utility stuff I'm not that proud of. I'm not proud of the videos. Like this table, it's a very simple 2x4 table. It's not really that interesting to make. And so the fact that there's a video about it, I'm not really proud of that video, but at the same time, maybe somebody walked away with oh, that's how you make a super simple shop table. I don't know. But any of the projects that I do that are like that are really utility, really simple, I just don't think the videos are that engaging for them. So there's that one. There was a foldable stool, which was a cool mechanism in my head, but it just kind of turned out, So there's a few things like that. My wife is the most supportive person in the world, honestly. She's never given me a hard time about wanting to be down here. She always makes time for me to spend time in the shop, even when it was a hobby. She knew that it was important for my well-being to have some time here, and so she's always been really supportive of that. And even when I started thinking about going full time, I was nervous about it. I was very like, there's no way this is gonna work. And she's like, yeah, do it. We'll be fine. We'll figure it out. You know, that's just how she is. It wasn't intentional at all. This was supposed to be like an extra thing that probably wouldn't even make any money. That wasn't the purpose. It was literally so I could stay sane and just get away from the programming thing a little bit every week. And that was the purpose of the whole thing. It grew to a point where I had to be able to pay for it, so I needed to make enough money to like buy wood and buy some tool, you know, replacement tools and stuff. But I never considered going full time until it was growing faster than I ever thought it would. And I couldn't figure out why it was taking that path that it was taking. And I was enjoying it so much that it made my day job, which was really well paying, just miserable for me to do. It was a great job, great people, but I was miserable doing it. And so those two things going in opposite directions made me go like, maybe I should try this. I think I have a why. I have a very specific reason as to why I'm doing what I'm doing and what the output is. And so all the choices I make and all the things I decide to pursue all have to be vetted against that why. And I think that's why it's working. I don't really know if I can explain that very well, but I have a central core that everything gets filtered through. And I think that's why I stay on course. And maybe that's why it's working, is because I have like a singular vision and I'm just going towards that. Honestly, I don't know. I don't know what the secret sauce is. I don't know why it's working, but I'm really blessed that it's working. I just wanted to say a sincere thank you to everybody who subscribed to the channel for helping me turn this thing into my life. It's very different living as a full-time self-employed person than working for somebody else, because I saw a really interesting post not too long ago that somebody said, it's Friday, or unless you're self-employed, it's Wednesday, which I thought was awesome because it points out the fact that there's never not work to do. Now I have the freedom to take time off and go, you know, have dinner with people or hang out with my kids in the middle of the afternoon if I want to. But at the end of the night, when the kids go to bed, there's still a huge amount of work to be done. I would expect that anybody that says that they have a good balance between life and family and work is probably not being honest with you, because I don't think it's a thing that you hit, that you get like, balance is here, now I hold it. That's not the way it works, for me anyway. It's a constant battle of trying to figure out the balance of when do my kids really need a dad. You know, today, like, my son may really need some time with me, whereas tomorrow he wants to play and he doesn't care whether I'm in the room or not. And so I'm trying to constantly navigate, like, when can I invest? When do I have to invest in family? When do I have to invest in the business? And then those other times, how do I do my best job at everything? So I think it's not balance, it's juggling more than anything else. I would prefer to always have the shop at the house in some way, because after the kids go to bed, I can go back to work. I can now literally walk downstairs and start making stuff in the shop again, and that's pretty important. And so I hope to always have some sort of a shop at our home, but I do know that we have completely outgrown this house. I've outgrown this shop, I've outgrown this office, and I do want to build a team of people to be able to produce more content, and I can't do that in 2 rooms, you know, so I'm not really sure what the future is going to look like, but I know that it's not always going to be here. I'm actually not a fan of being in the public eye. I think the idea of celebrity is pretty messed up, and I think it can lead to a lot of bad stuff. I mean, when you get a large audience, you have a certain amount of visibility in front of people. That's inevitable, I think, but how you choose to use that visibility and how you choose to take advantage of it says a lot about like what your goal is. And so for me, that visibility is not a goal for me. The visibility is a way for me to reach more people and get more people inspired. So I like that portion of it, but at the same time, I'm not a big fan of being like laying my life out in front of a bunch of people that have no business in my life, or you know, who I don't like necessarily value their personal opinions about what I do. I don't really like that, but that's just kind of part of being in front of a bunch of people. I've never had a goal for where this was going. Like I said, I have a why, I have a purpose, and that's the goal. So growth, a certain size of growth is not a goal, a certain reach is not a goal. It's amazing to be able to reach more people. So I don't really have like a long-term like vision for how big I want this thing to be or anything like that. I guess I just want to constantly be able to reach more people and get them making something that they want to have. That's really what it comes down to. But I don't have like a long-term goal.